Welcome back, guys. This weather has been crazy. So let me jump right into it with the new update. So, at our home, we have an African plum tree. We've had it for about 6 years, and this all of a sudden in winter, it wants to start to bloom. So, a couple days ago, I checked it and it is full of blooms, and the bees are everywhere. So the African plum is in bloom, but the other vegetables have frozen. Like the purple queen flower here has frozen. Now, I did want to let you guys take a peek at the red beans. They made it through the first frost, but the second one did not do them well. As you can see, a couple of them we tried to save them, but it just did not work out. One thing you cannot do is compete or change nature. That's just part of it. And one thing that I did realize, this was my first time actually trying to grow some beans. And these beans actually came from a dried bag that I had in the pantry. So if you didn't see how we got here, go back and check out the previous videos. But I would definitely plant more beans in the springtime so we can have a fantastic harvest for the summertime. First time growing them, but they were super easy to grow. And as you can see, even through the cold, they still produce a lot of pods that we're going to eventually fill up with the red beans. Even some of those that were severely frozen, they still looked pretty good. But of course, with them being frozen, we can't eat them. And I'm just going to pull them up and then we'll start over. Now, this one really broke my heart. I hated to have to pull up my bell pepper. It was actually still producing, and this one I actually planted from a seed, if I'm not mistaken, during the beginning of the summertime. And it actually lived the entire summer all the way up until November. And it was actually still producing bell peppers. And you can see here, I think it was two of them still left on there, and I've had plenty more blooms because as long as it's outside and we have the bees, it's going to continue to pollinate and produce the fruit or the veggies that you're specifically growing. Now, this one was a little tough, but once I got it out, I was able to see all of the root system, and that's why it was such a strong bell pepper. Look at all of the roots. And if it would have kept going, I would have definitely had to have changed pots because it was becoming to start to become pot bound. But definitely we'll give it another try in the summertime. And I was able to harvest about 4 or 5 bell peppers off of that plant. Now, with this crazy weather, some days it's 75, some days it's 55. It has not been beneficial for the winter vegetables. As you see here, majority of the lettuce has started to bolt. And bolting is when a vegetable goes into the seeding phase. Once it goes into the seeding phase, you can harvest the lettuce or the veggies that's remaining, but it will become bitter. But of course, the romaine lettuce here looks fantastic. And you can see here it's starting to bolt. And once it get the seeds at the top, just let it go all the way. And there are super small seeds, and the stem will go straight up. Now the romaine, the spinach looks fantastic. Couple bug bites, but no worries there. And this is another example here. They've started to bolt because it's been so hot here, even this November, almost December. The romaine is looking good. It's starting to get some heads or hearts in the middle of them. I will harvest some romaine lettuce probably next 4 or 5 days to make a good Caesar salad. Now, I did notice that one of the romaine lettuce, it is starting to seed. So we'll have to just let it go. And again, you cannot compete, change, or manipulate nature. It's going to do what it's going to do. And that's also another good caveat to owning a greenhouse. You're able to control the heat and the sun, and you can manipulate it within some degree. But with the outside in-ground garden, which is my favorite, hey, let nature do its thing, and we just reap the harvest. The spinach is looking fantastic. I can't wait to actually harvest some of that. And if you go back and look at the previous videos, that spinach was really eaten up by the bugs. And I think I actually got it for free from the nursery because they was getting ready to dump it in the trash. So I grabbed it. Now, another veggie that loves the winter here is the kale. I have the purple kale and I have the green kale. Of course, the colder it gets, the better the kale will become. My whole house, we love the kale crunch salad, so I will actually harvest some of that today within this video. You'll be able to see it. And also, I'm checking on the Swiss chard. It's looking so-so, but we'll let it keep going here. Now, this is the green kale, and this is the Swiss chard right here. It looks like something maybe walked on it, but we'll let it keep going. And I love all of the bright colors that they offer. Now, also, you can tell here that with it being so cold, it did damage some of the leaves on it. But the onions are looking fantastic. Now, the radishes did not make it, but I'm going to let them stay there, not pull them up. Here you can see again the bell pepper plant. I call it a tree because it was getting so big. And you can see I'm not going to eat that one because both of those, they're completely frozen. I'm just going to pull it up and toss it over and start over next year. That's the wonderful thing about gardening. You have the option to start over and try it again. Now with the rutabagas, they look fantastic, and a lot of them are starting to get some of the roots on them, as you can see here. And another key factor with rutabagas and turnips, once they start to push up out the ground, the root, do not cover them up. Just let them be. They will poke out, as you see here. It's tempting to cover them up with dirt, but let them poke out. They will grow better that way. And also with the leaves, you are able to harvest them and cook them just like you would with the collards or cabbages or even kale. Um, you can eat those as well. Now the potatoes not looking good. The cold really did a number. And see here, I pulled this one up just to see. That was the original potato that I planted, and it was starting to harvest a couple of small potatoes. But there another leaf that looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave that one there. But everything else so far is looking fantastic. The broccoli is looking wonderful. Cannot wait to actually see the broccoli florets start to grow. Here are some more. These are the Georgia collard greens. They are looking fantastic. They look a little droopy now because I haven't watered them. So once I put some water on them, they will perk back up. And I have a couple of questions people have been asking about the watering. I am going to make a watering video because when I water, you really can't tell how much water and the length of time that I am watering. But what I would tell anyone, if you have a garden or just some plants inside of a bucket, water it first and then just get your fingers and push back the dirt, and you will actually see that a lot of times the water is not penetrating down enough to the roots. So that's why a lot of people plants end up dying because they're not deep watering. And that's what I call it, deep watering. Keep watering and watering, and just get your fingers and push the soil back, and you'll be able to tell if the soil, the water's actually making it down. Now, the purple cabbages look fantastic. Look how big the leaves are, and some of them are even starting to get some heads on them. So I'm super excited. This is my first time actually growing the purple cabbage. I grew cabbage a couple of years ago, and those worked out fantastic. But these here, they actually definitely add a pop of color to the garden, and I like to eat those as well. Now, we do have a little grass growing, but I'm going to leave it not to worry about that because we have the onions. They're doing fantastic. Now, also, I'm going to next couple days probably crap off some of the collard leaves just to see what they taste like. Because think thing about collards, you can crap them at the bottom and they will come back. Now, this watering session lasted about 15 minutes. Of course, you won't be able to tell now with the speed of the video. This is what I call a deep watering. I have not watered the garden for about 3 days. That's the most that I would push it, even though with it being cold outside. And another watering tip, I always like to either water in the morning time because the later you wait to water, the more likely it is with the temperatures dropping, you might get some of your roots might decide to freeze if you water for a long time and it gets super cold. So my rule of thumb is to water early in the morning for the winter time. But in the summertime, definitely a different watering technique. You will water in the morning and the afternoon, but no worries about here is wintertime, so water at least about a good 15 minutes. Now, this is my finished product, and no, we do not own a kitty cat. That black cat just takes up around our garden. We've even named him Midnight. So I'm not sure where he came from, but we've adopted him. And this is the final product. I'm able to harvest some of the kale. I laid down some new pine straw, did a deep watering. So super excited. The Brussels sprouts are looking great. So stay tuned for updates of the garden. Now, another little activity that we have going on is a little worm pit. We have so many earthworms here. I just started collecting them. And then what I would do is when I would have the scraps from the house, either carrots, radish, onions, I just tell the kids, toss them in there with the worms to give them some nutrients. But lo and behold, of course, nature has taken over again and they are growing out of our compost slash worm pile. Stay tuned. I'll do more updates about the worms as well. See you guys later. Bye.